welcome to StudyIQ English, your favorite UPSC platform. Today's video is about India's only active volcano, and that is in the Barren Islands, Andaman and Nicobar Island. Once again, today, after a long gap, it has experienced some minor eruptions. That means volcanic hot lava was picturized flowing from the crater right here in India's, in fact, South Asia's only active volcano, the Barren Island. A very important question for UPSC exam. So let's see how this happened and what does it mean? What does it talk about? In general, the climate change, tectonic shift, disaster management, all these related issues. Now, talking about Barren Island, it is popularly known as a submarine emergent volcano. The island is a part of the Andaman and Nicobar Union Territory of India. And today, after a long gap, there was a minor volcanic eruption that was noticed 2 times in a gap of just 8 days here in the Barren Island region of Andaman. The Barren Island, talking about its location, is situated in the Andaman Sea, and this is about 138 kilometers northeast of the Andaman and Nicobar capital, Sri Vijayapura. It is well known for being the only active volcano in South Asia. So although much damage has not happened, quite unlike the 1971 eruption, when a lot of biodiversity, especially animals, were under threat. This time, because the eruptions were minor, too much damage hasn't taken place. The island is largely uninhabited. And at the same time, it is the environmental experts who are saying that 2 times eruptions happening in just a gap of 8 days could also mean major tectonic movements that this area is experiencing. It was also in the news in 2004, as the tectonic movements had created the great tsunami in the Indian Ocean that brought with it a great spate of destruction, and after which not only India but many other regions of South Asia became equipped with a much more sophisticated tsunami warning system. Today, as the island has seen 2 eruptions, the world community is looking on. What could it mean for the future? Is it something dangerous? Will it need some kind of better preparedness on the part of the government? That is something we are yet to see. And talking about the topography of the island is about 3 square kilometers in size. It is mostly covered with ash, volcanic ash. It has many volcanic cones around. From a distance, if you see, there is hardly any vegetation that's visible in the area because, as I said, it is majorly an uninhabited island. Now, for the UPSC exam, it's very important to remember places like the 10-degree channel, places like the Duncan Passage. Yes, we need to know about the Saddle Peak, one of the highest peaks of the region. We also need to know about Mahatma Gandhi Marine National Park and the Mount Harriet National Park. Many times these are quick questions asked in the prelims. So as static facts, we should know about the geography of the whole area. Now, the first eruption in the Barren Island had happened long back in 1787. And according to the data estimates available with the Andaman and Nicobar Island Administration, this was a more serious eruption. It was a more major eruption as compared to the eruptions that happened in the last few years. Now, the recent volcanic eruption, which I'm talking about, that have happened in just 8-day gap, 13th and 20th, these both were minor eruptions. They did not do much harm in the area as such. The second eruption has been associated with a magnitude 4.2 earthquake that had hit the Andaman Sea in September 18th, 2025. Now, whenever there is a kind of an earthquake, it also therefore creates massive wave response in the sea. And usually it's a matter of a concern, of a grave concern to the people in general that inhabit the nearby areas. And this time, the government actually gave a piece of consolation saying that no, the earthquake was a minor one, so which means it should not lead to any other tsunami-like scenario in the area. But at the same time, we also understand that this is a very seismically vulnerable region because the Andaman Nicobar Arc is a classical subduction zone. It is situated at such a point where the Indian plate slips, it glides beneath the Sundik plain into the mantle which means that earthquakes and magma leakages are quite likely in this region again and again. Barren Island in the Andaman Sea is a part of the Andaman Nicobar volcanic arc, which was formed due to the subduction of the Indian plate. Now, Indian plate, which is a part of the larger Indo-Austrian plate, as it got subducted inside beneath the Burma microplate, which happens to be the part of the larger Eurasian plate system. So, as the plates glide one beneath the other, it leads to massive tectonic movements. And no wonder this area is pretty sensitive to earthquakes. Now, for your UPSC exam, whether from the geography perspective or whether you study this from a climate disaster perspective, it's equally important to understand the nature of earthquake waves, seismic waves as we call them, whether it's the body waves or the surface waves, and why in general do we further try to study the impact of transverse wave or the S waves, which are very, very dangerous. They bring massive earthquakes. So, talking about the reason why the area of Barren Island is so prone to volcanic eruptions, it's because the Indian plate being more dense. As it glides or slides below the Burma plate, this convergence between the two plates causes melting of the mantle of the earth. And that's also the reason that magma is produced. Now, magma therefore spells out, it just comes out of the island, the crater in the Barren Island region. That's why in future as well, the area is considered to be very, very important for prevention, for future disaster management, and also for studying in general the nature of tectonic plates behavior. Now, talking about the general seismic and volcanic activity, let's understand that the subduction zone in this area that happens between the Indian and the Burma plate, that is responsible for so many earthquakes that keep occurring in this region of Andaman Nicobar Island. As I mentioned, a case in study could be the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. Scientists also believe that the recent shaking, the recent tremors and minor explosions of the Barren Island were triggered by increased seismic activity in the area, which led to a triggering of the magma chamber below the volcano. At the same time, let's also understand that if you look at the entire chain of volcanoes that start from Sumatra to Myanmar region, this Barren Island happens to be the only active crater over here. It is a typical stratovolcano. Why do we call it stratovolcano? Because it comes and the magma, the lava settles down in the form of various layers around the original crater. And that's why the name stratovolcano. Usually the entire island is composed of rock fragments, lava leftovers, solidification, and too much volcanic ash. With the latest eruption that happened just few days back, it is also a report which says that maybe it is not causing any major danger because largely nobody lives here. There is hardly any presence of human habitation. At the same time, though, the Navy and the Coast Guard, they are continuing to impose strict advisories to all the ships and vessels that are passing from the region to prevent any further disaster and its impact on the people. Now, geological teams from the National Center for Seismography and Geological Survey of India are also trying to analyze pictures, data, satellite captures to understand the scale of this eruption and what kind of a risk do we really see in the same area in the future. So for the UPSC exam, it's very important to know the entire geography of the Andaman and Nicobar. Yes, we need to know about the Barren Islands in general. We need to understand the reason, the subduction of the Indo and the Burma plate. Besides, we also need to know various other points, as I mentioned, that are quick questions that are asked in the prelims very often about how the 10-degree channel separates which part of the island to another, all the national parks in the area, and which famous wildlife animals is the region known for. So all these things are important for UPSC. If you want to have another video that is completely dedicated only to the geography, biodiversity of the area, please tag me and you can let me know through the comment box. Now let's have a look at the quick practice question. Consider the following statements regarding the Barren Island in the Andaman Sea. 1. It's the only active volcano along the entire chain of islands between the Andaman Sea and the Indonesian archipelago. Archipelago, a group of many islands placed nearby. Second, the volcanic activity in the Barren Island is a result of subduction. of the Indian plate beneath the Burma microplate, because Indian plate is more dense here. 3. Despite being uninhabited by humans, the island supports a unique flora, such as flying foxes, goats, and certain seabirds. And 4. The lava emitted is primarily basaltic in nature, indicating that it is a shield type volcano. Now, the last two statements can be a little tricky, but you can try to answer the question. You can self verify by the last slide that has the answer. So, do post me with your answer. And if you want to leave a thread of discussion regarding anything with association to UPSC, regarding anything in relation with the Andaman Islands, the Andaman Sea, do let me know. And we can begin a very fascinating discussion here. And many more people can keep participating. And before I take your leave, one last reminder about today's sale ending day. Because today is 24th, and you know that we are already having the Navratri Mahotsav sale on our platform StudyIQ, which means you have many courses, Hindi, English, in English, to choose from. Yes, these are the GS Foundation courses, but if you enroll into them, you will also get special discounts across various optional subjects. And if you are targeting for UPSC 2026, then time is limited and the sale is limited too. So it's a great opportunity for you to type code SPLIVE on your screen and then apply for any of these courses. The prices are as humble as $999 only. Similarly, if your target year is 27, 28, and you are looking for evening batches, say if you are a working person and you can have more easy access to online classes in the evening, then September evening batch could be a great solution there. So you can definitely type the code SPLIVE, make your UPSC preparation more systematic. Let us help you in making your goal a proper timetable and providing you with all the essential guideline, content, classes, CSAT, everything. Thank you so much for being with us.